Hello, happy Monday and welcome to part 2 of the MPower Kickstart to losing your first 5 to 10 pounds. Yesterday we went through habits and routine, which is, in my eyes, the most important part of this process. If you've not had a look at that, please go back and watch it in the previous email. Today we're going to go through calories in a little bit more detail. This is actually how you're going to lose 5 to 10 pounds theoretically, because losing body fat equals being in a calorie deficit. It's quite simple. If you have health conditions, if you have hormonal disparities, if you have gut issues, just a calorie deficit isn't going to work. So if you are someone who is truly adhering to your calorie deficit and nothing is happening, either you need to increase your calorie deficit or there could be underlying conditions at play. So that is just a little disclaimer, because I harp on about this on Instagram all the time, but fat loss is not as simple as a calorie deficit for a lot of people. However, for most people, this is what works. Obviously, if losing fat is the goal, we need to be in a calorie deficit. And you can create your deficit through food or through movement or both. Personally, we like to create a calorie deficit through both for people, because it prevents you either doing too much output where you're doing loads of cardio, loads of steps, it feels shit, and also the opposite end of the spectrum where your deficit is just through food, you're on really low calories, you're tired, you're hungry, feel like shit again, because neither of those are sustainable. Whereas if we find a happy medium of being in a moderate calorie deficit where, you know, hunger's not too high, cravings aren't too high, you're satiated, you're happy, you're full, and then also a moderate output with activity, that is the perfect combination. So today we're going to go through nutrition, and then in tomorrow's video we're going to go through movement. The first thing that you need to do if you are planning to enter a calorie deficit is to figure out what your maintenance calories are and then work backwards from there. I'm going to attach a calorie calculator guide that you can use to work out your maintenance calories. Be aware that this is a guide, okay? Everyone is different, and this is where you need to sometimes be tedious with things, because if you go to your maintenance calories and you eat those maintenance calories for 2 weeks and you gain weight, well then it's a surplus and it's not maintenance, okay? So you need to figure out your maintenance again. So these are all just guidelines, but it's the basics that we would follow, okay? So I would first of all determine what your maintenance calories are, and I would actually aim to consume my maintenance calories for the first 2 weeks while I'm building the habits and building the routine. Before I enter a deficit, there is no rush at losing body fat, and if you know that you can do this slower and then you can lose body fat and keep it off forever, what is the rush? Time is going to pass anyway. I would spend 2 weeks at that maintenance level to let yourself ease into the routine, ease into the habits, and for this to just be a bit simpler and for hunger to not be part of the equation, okay? After that 2 week period, then what I would do is I would enter into the calorie deficit, and I would recommend to start off nice and slow, and I would just subtract anywhere from like 150 to 300 calories per day from your intake. So for example, if your calorie intake is 2000 maintenance, I would aim to consume between, like, let's say 1700 to 1850 calories, and that means that you're banking between 150 to 300 calories per day. Outside of calorie like numbers, your macronutrients are also really important. So you need to make sure that you're eating enough protein, and generally we would say anywhere from like 1.8 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So anywhere from 1.8 to 2 grams. And then you need to make sure that you're getting enough fibre. This is something that people really overlook, is fibre intake. But fibre intake is so important to maintain a healthy gut so that you can actually pass stool often, keeps your hormones healthy. Super important, alright? So make sure you're having a serving of fruit and veg with your meals. And then outside of that, ensure that you're consuming mostly whole foods, balancing your plate, and including proteins, fats, carbs in each of your meals, okay? Healthy fats are really important. Do not shy away from healthy fats just because they're higher in calories. Once you add them into your daily calorie intake, you're in a calorie deficit. You're gonna lose body fat, okay? So that is calories. It's really simple. find your maintenance, stay there for a week or two, enter into a deficit, and then adjust as you need to, and just make sure that you're choosing whole foods, nutritious foods, and also allowing for a little bit of chocolate in there or whatever you enjoy, because that's what makes fat loss enjoyable, is when you can actually have foods that you love. You don't need to eat chicken, rice and broccoli for 3 meals a day to lose body fat, okay? So yeah, that is calories. Tomorrow we're going to go through movement. Have a gorgeous day, and I'll see you in the next video.